Hi everyone. Okay. Good evening everyone, or rather afternoon. It's afternoon on my end. Please, sorry about the disconnection. I had a little network issue. If you can hear me now and see me, please indicate in the chat. Can anyone hear me? All right, Chisum, thank you so much. Thank you, Divine. Thank you, Sonia. My voice is echoing. All right, please give me a minute. Let me handle that. How about now? Is it still echoing? Can anyone still hear the echo in my voice? Okay, everyone. So, as I was saying, good afternoon and welcome to our first masterclass of the year. If you're excited to be here, please let me see it in the chat section. Let me see your excitement. Are you happy to be here? Are you looking forward to today's session? Excited to be all today. Rabiatu, I see Ahmed, I see Umar, I see Nilis, I see Ifai. All right, all right, all right. That's so exciting. I am so happy that you are excited. So, like I said earlier in the chat, our host has do, but she's here now and we'll be getting right into the session. Hi, Precious. If you can hear me, please say something so that we know you're here. Hi, Precious. Are you there? Also, I see some people in the chat talking about network is lagging, my voice is still echoing. I sincerely apologize. The network. Oh, my line keeps freezing. Oh my God. I am so sorry, guys. Please let's all blame network at this point. Precious, are you here with us now? If you're saying something, your mic is still
Hello?
muted, so we can't hear you.
Hello, can you hear me? Hello? Hello?
All
Hello?
right, all right. Hi,
Good.
Precious. Good afternoon.
Hello. Good afternoon. I'm very sorry. I'm having a bit of a technical issue here. The lights are out. Internet is very bad. I don't know why, but I'm sorry. Hello, everyone. Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, and I
Oh,
see a lot of
oh,
people
okay.
in the
Oh,
class
okay.
as
Yeah, I can
well.
see that. Oh, okay. I would like to welcome everybody to today's session, and I am happy to know that everybody here is just as excited as I am to start this session. I'm very sorry for the the technical hitches we are having. Please forgive me. I didn't intend for that to happen, but unfortunately, that was my network. I hope everybody can hear me because at this point, I'm scared I might be talking and nobody will hear me. Just give me a thumbs up in the chat if you can hear me. Okay, then we can go ahead. So today we have with us a very wonderful lady who is very experienced when it comes to data. And I know that everybody here is, excited. We are all in the mood. We want to learn a lot from her. And trust me, we are all not living here the same. She has a lot to tell us in terms of AI and how AI is going to help us in processing our data and also how to practicalize everything that we do with data. And today we have here with us Deborah Adiolu. Deborah is in Ghana but a Nigerian. I refuse to believe that because Deborah knows how to speak Ghanaian language very, very well. I mean, Tree, she knows how to speak that. So sometimes I wonder how Deborah is a Nigerian, but yeah. Let's just let it be. I wanted to steal her from the Nigerians, but then yeah, we would maintain the fact that she's here with us in Ghana. So today Deborah is the CEO of Data Diaries with D. She has been in the industry for a very long time now. She has a lot of experience and a whole lot on her plate to dish for us today. Hello, Deborah. Can you hear me?
Hi, Precious. Okay, let me
Oh,
show.
yes, Deborah can hear me. Deborah, please, I want to steal you from Nigeria. Become a Ghanaian. Let's give you a Ghana card here.
All right, no
Okay.
problem.
Yeah, thank you very much for joining us today, Deborah. I present you to our audience for today. I've already wasted some of the time, so I wouldn't want to take more of your time. Please, you have the floor today. Thank you.
All right, no problem. Okay, do we want to see me or I can just hide myself for a while? I
Please, we
think we
would
want
want
to
to
see me,
see
so
you.
that's fine. Well, I'm going to let me turn on my camera just a little bit. You can see me. All right. I think you cannot see me. That's fine. All right. So
Yeah.
hi everyone. Madelu Deborah Boluatife. Yes, I'm Nigerian and I've stayed in Ghana for quite a number of years. I think it's almost 17 years. Yeah, so I can say I'm actually a Ghanaian, all right? Okay, so I am a data analyst. I am the co-founder of Veloxa Technology Limited. I am also a STEM instructor. I teach robotics. I teach digital skills. Okay, I teach anything that I lay my hands on. Anything that I can put my mind to, I can definitely teach that. All right, so without much introduction, let me share my screen. Please, if you can hear me, just give a thumbs up, just so I'm sure you hear me. Right. If you can see my screen, please give a thumbs up. All right. Okay. Precious, can you see my screen? Hi, Precious.
Yes, your screen is up.
It's visible. Good.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay.
You're welcome.
So
Thank you.
So I'm quite excited about this topic because, you know, I think we are in the age where we should utilize AI. We should leverage AI in our day-to-day activities. We should leverage AI in our tasks. We should actually save much of our time with AI. And myself being a data analyst, I would say AI has actually come to make my work very easy. You know, spending hours of data cleaning, I can do that in minutes. That's really fascinating. All right, so this is the agenda of today. So today we will be discussing some AI fundamentals in analytics. We would also be using some AI tools like Gemini for data exploration and integration. We would also be introduced to a platform, or I would say personally, I call it an AI tool. Okay, but it's actually a code editor compared to those of us that are familiar with Visual Studio Code. All right. Yes, so Cursor is more like that, but it's supported by an AI agent, okay, that helps you to finish your analysis, all right? And we would have some hands-on exercises here and there, all right? So I would not go into day two, but let me just go through just quickly. So day two, we would be using other tools like Notebook LLMs for deep diving into our analysis. We would be doing more practicality or doing more practical work, tomorrow. Yeah, we'll be learning the workflow automation of, in analysis. We would also learn some ethics and practices, all right, and probably take home projects. Yeah. Okay. So the first question I know some of us will be asking, all right, or the first question I want to answer is why AI in data analytics? So the truth is, it has actually come to automate tasks that we do in a number of hours, in quite a long period. All right. It's actually here to minimize that amount of time we use to do our analysis, to do our testing, all that. It has actually come to reduce the number of time that we do all that. It has also come to uncover some patterns that we as humans cannot identify. All right. Okay, so now we have machine learning models that have come to, give us deep insights, come to uncover some patterns in our analysis and our data. We get to know more about the businesses we work with as a data analyst. All right, if you are not yet a data analyst, know that at the end of this masterclass, at the end of today, you will know that you've actually been doing analysis, but you did not actually know you were doing analysis. Yes, that's the truth. So each and every one of us here has done analysis in one way or the other. If you're able to identify that this particular fruit will go bad within a period of time, you did analyze because you looked at it. You looked at how long it has stayed in that position, where it has been put. You tend to look at the season where this fruit, um, the season where this particular fruits grow, you get to know a lot of things. If you're in a classroom and you're able to analyze that, okay, this number of students at this particular time do not pay attention because they eat heavy lunch. You're able to identify all these things. All these things are all analysis, one way or the other. All right. So another thing or another reason why we need AI in data analytics is for code generation. So we're able to generate Python scripts. Okay, for those of us that are new to Python and R are actually programming languages that are very effective, all right, for analysis. All right, they use natural language models. All right, okay. So if I'm to explain the natural language models, I mean, we have GPT, we have Claude and all that. We are all natural language models. All right. So now it also helps non-technical users to feel very comfortable, to do technical work. If you're new to data analytics and your boss gives you work, can you do after reports on this particular customer? Can you draft a report on this particular product? Can you do this or that? You do not have to think so much. You don't have to now start whispering to your colleague, how do I do this? I'll lose my job if I don't do this. No, we have AI, so we're able to freely do that. Okay, so at the end of this masterclass, you will be able to use these 4 tools very well. You'll be able to use Kesa, you'll be able to use ChatGPT, you'll be able to use Gemini AI, you'll also be able to use Notebook LLMs. So the truth is, every AI tool most of the AI tools don't work the same. Okay, for myself that has used them for quite a number of years, I would say that they do not work the same. Okay, so if you're dealing with Kesa is basically for code editing. Instead of you to probably think of using Visual Studio Code or maybe using Jupyter Notebook, all right, you would just want to use Kesa because eventually it is supported with an AI agent. It has quite a number of models you can pick from, just so your output can be tailored, to that particular model. All right. So it's basically a code editor, AI-powered code editor for workflows. It's able to generate Python scripts for data cleaning, visualization, machine learning models. So these machine learning models, they are still GPT, Claude, and all that. They are used for text generation. They are used for predictions and all that. All right. So every AI tool is built on a model. Okay. Yeah, they did not just rise from wherever they were from. You didn't just wake up and hear it. They all were generated on a particular model. So ChatGPT is very much advisable that you use ChatGPT for data exploration and problem solving. So I would say that, so this is something I want to share because you'll be seeing it, as time goes on. Sorry, that's okay. So we'll be seeing it as time goes on. So data exploration is basically understanding your data, is being able to understand the patterns of your data, is being able to result to a particular decision. All right. So let's say that you have, sorry, just a minute. So let's say that you have a customer, data with you. Let's use someone that works at the front desk, right? So you noticed, you're the one probably taking the names of those who come to work, the time, dates, and you notice that at the point in time, some people do not record their time. They don't write the dates, but they write their names. Some don't write the time, some don't write the dates. Do you understand? So you get to find out about this and like, how do I go about it? So you do not come on these days. This particular people do not come on that days. Then able to identify that, okay, what time do they normally come to what? So you're able to understand the people, okay? Come to work. You'll be able to understand every thought on all this. And you're like, okay, let me do people that come on a particular day. We don't understand called their names yet to understand what the feedback that is being given. Okay, is my network fine? Hi, Precious.
Yeah, we can hear you
Hello.
now.
All
Yeah, we
right.
can hear you. You were breaking for a minute, but we can hear you.
Okay, sure. Thank you very much. Okay, so basically EDA is just processing of processing of your data, examining your data, summarizing it, visualizing it, all right, just so that you can be able to conclude on something, all right? And that is being supported by your models, your machine learning models, all right? So another particular tool that I want us to also take note of is Gemini AI. So when you're using Gemini, so for data analysis, mainly Gemini is used for analyzing your visualizations, okay? Your tables you're able to, so fair enough, you're able to combine your your visuals or your tables or even so whatever feedback it gives, you're able to connect it to your Google Workspace. Eventually, Gemini is a Google product, so you are able to connect it to your Excel sheet, your Google Doc. However, the feedback is you're able to connect it to a maybe a more pleasant place where you can be able to expand your sheets. You're able to see properly, and all that, view properly, and all that. So it gives you a more a more flexible environment. All right. So notebook LLMs, one of my favorites for our researchers here, okay, that is maybe transitioning into data analysis. Notebook LLMs really helps us a lot. It helps you synthesize your documents. It helps you synthesize your data sets. If you really want a very precise documentation, I recommend Notebook LLMs. All right. If you're new to it, you will definitely explore and get to know more about it. All right. So these are some of the key concepts I want us to keep in mind. What's the difference between machine learning modeling and what? Generative AI. So we should understand the difference. We should not conclude that, okay, eventually Gen AI is generative AI is ChatGPT and all that. And you're like, okay, this is what it is. No, this is not what it is. So the truth is, with the machine learning models, they do help with your final predictions, your final diagnosis. So most of the times, this machine learning modeling, they are the foundations of these AI tools that we see. All right, with these machine learning models, they are trained with what a particular data. So if it's working with health, it's able to you're able to feed you're able to feed these models with this particular health data, and it's able to what use that particular data to what make predictions, make diagnosis. All right, so it's able to get familiar with your data, so you're able to feed it with a particular data and know that, okay, this is what these are the results. So they are mainly used, they are mainly they are mainly the foundations of every what generative AI. That's basically what I want to say. And now when we come to Gen AI, so with Gen AI, it helps us produce content. Okay, so Gen AI is for text generation, image generation, right? All those, audio generation, video generation, code generation. So now you know that, okay, this tool is generative AI because, okay, it helps me to create what? Text, audios, videos, codes. You know that, okay, this is generative AI. When we talk about machine learning models, they're the foundations of all these generative AI tools that we use. Okay, we have linear regression, we have a lot more and all that. I do not want to use so much technicalities because we are still getting to know how to use our AI tools in analysis. So now we have the large language models, okay? And how do these language models work? So these large language models, they are built on what? Big data. So large language models deal with, let's use a researcher, for example. So you would not be using tools like DAO or Nano Banana. How can you be using text generation tools, image generation tools to what for research? No, you won't be doing that. So since you want to do deep generation, trying to understand, the text, the context, you'll be using tools like Claude, using tools like Gemini, all right, like I call it Llama, okay, it's from Meta. Okay, Gemini is from Google, Claude is from Anthropic. Okay, so we have different objectives of these tools. We have different ways we use these tools. So basically, this is how they work. Okay, so with this, they have limitations because you cannot use a large language model to generate images. You can't say, okay, you can, some of them can actually generate images sincerely. Some can generate images, but the truth is that is not their key, function. That's not their key function. So maybe for generating images, I will go for Nano Banana. Someone can say, okay, let me go for Gemini. But the truth is, their models are not really trained so much towards do those kind of generation. Someone can say, let me use ChatGPT, but ChatGPT is more, flexible. But I would say that with ChatGPT, I will use it for essays, I'll use it for emails, I'll use it for summaries, I'll use it for code, and so on and so forth. So let's get to understand how these tools are being used and how best we can utilize them. So another thing is prompt engineering. Okay, so this is what I say: garbage in, garbage out. Whatever prompt you give your AI tools, whatever input you give, that is what it's going to give you. If you feed it with a data that is not quality, if you feed it with a data that is false, it's going to give you false data. All right, so do well to craft effective queries. Draft, when I say queries, I mean inputs, put in, data that is very effective, okay, and helps the understanding of your data. AI bias and data quality. All right, so when you're dealing with data, when you're dealing with these AI tools, each of them have their bias. That's why I was saying that when you're doing text generation, when you're using image generation, when you're doing video generation and all that, you should be very careful on what particular tool you're using, okay? Because they are all built on different models. What tools are you using? What AI tools are you using? Is this effective for what I'm doing? All right, let's not just pick an AI tool. Yes, Gemini works good for me. When I open it, it's able to give me something. Those outputs, it's not every output we are supposed to take. Most of the outputs are not what we need. We just use them because we feel like, okay, it's AI, so eventually it's right. It is not always right, please. Thank you. All right, so this is the foundation of what we'll be doing today. Exploratory data analysis. What is it? I explained. It's examining, understanding your data. And we are trying to use AI, in our data analysis. But first of all, we should understand EDAs. We should understand our data even before we say we want to use AI tools. All right, we should know the foundation of this data analysis, the foundation of what analysis. All right, so I do explain exploratory data analysis as the infrastructure of your data. It's literally everything about it. Doing an EDA about your data allows your shareholder, the stakeholder, whoever, and a technical person to be able to understand your data sets, okay? Understand everything about your business, understand everything about your data. All right, so how do we understand our data? All right, how do we explain it to someone? All right, so EDA involves data understanding. Then secondly, we tend to detect outliers. So outliers are information, or I would say outliers are data that are overboard. They are like how will I say this? It's an overflow of your data. Okay, they are not really necessary. They are not necessary in your data sets. Okay, so you imagine that you're dealing with customer data and you find something relating to health and you're like, what is it doing here? Okay, so you being able to identify or detect these outliers, it helps you best understand your data. Excuse me. So you should understand, you should also identify the relationships in your what data sets. Okay, understand the relationship in your data sets. Okay, so if you're dealing with customer data, we will be relating age and maybe age and year they were born, basically something that makes see the relationship between the data that you are having. All right, so now we have the model selection, which is very, very important. Okay, the model selection is very important. So you are dealing with customer data. You are dealing with quite a wide number of data. You should be able to detect what model am I using. Am I using GPT? Am I using Claude? What am I using? What am I, solidifying my analysis on? All right. Okay, so another thing I didn't really mention is discovering the patterns and the trends. Okay, so what are the patterns in your data? What have you really noticed? Did you notice that, okay, there's a particular number, a particular day, a particular month that customers, order? Is there a particular product that customers order the most? You're able to identify the trend. So do they mostly trip in when we have a promotion? Okay, these are all things we do when we're talking about what EDAs, which is very simple. And our model selection, okay, I've spoken about it already. What model are you, leveraging on? GPT-4, GPT-5, Llama, all that. What are you, solidifying your analysis on? Okay, so I did not mean to show this to you now, but the truth is, this is a very, very simple script that explains EDAs. Because probably we have non-technical people here, I'm going to break this down, but we're not going to go deep into it now. It's just so there is no barrier in going into data analysis. It is very simple. Just understand your data set. Do a very concrete EDA. Understand what data you're dealing with. Okay, so let me just quickly explain. All right, then we go into our our data sets. Okay, so this explains the structure of a particular data. Okay, yes, explains in the data. Okay, it's called data.csv. So CSV is an Excel file. Those of us that have played with Excel, data.csv file. Okay. So the first three lines, and this Python library gives structure. When you see your data set in your Excel sheet, it would not appear automatically here on maybe your cursor, because I said the cursor is a code editor that will be utilized. Okay, so it would not appear automatically on your cursor or your Visual Studio Code or Jupyter Notebook. All these tools I'm mentioning, they are all used for analysis, data analysis. They are all used for Python programming, so you can explore them as time goes on. All right. So the first three lines are the structure of your data sets. Okay, they help you to structureize your data set, because without them, you literally just have an unstructured data sets. All right. The second part of it is load your data set. So there's something I do say a lot. I say ETL. Okay. So when you're doing an EDA, you extract, you transform, and you load. Some can also say LT is it LTE also, but there are different ways you say it, okay? I say ETL, extract, transform, load, right? You extract your data, you transform your data, you load your data. So after loading your data, we want to do, and we want to, understand it. We want to identify some things on it. We want to see some relationships, in our data. So that is where we identify the missing values, okay? We identify the relationship, between the data. So when we are talking about unvariate analysis, unvariate analysis is basically analyzing of one variable at a time. So you want to analyze your age, you want to analyze ages before you maybe probably analyze the gender. Yeah, so I'm talking in place of handling customer data so that we do not get confused. Okay, so you want to understand the distribution of the ages, you want to understand the count of customers, by their gender. All right. So now, what do we when we you see? I'm sure you're seeing bivariate analysis. So if uni is probably 1, then the bi is 2. So we're analyzing 2 variables to understand their relationship. And I said earlier that when you're doing an EDA, first of all, you understand, you detect outliers, and you identify relationships, which is very, very simple. Okay, so this is just a very simple Python script on doing an EDA. So you can imagine how short this is and what it can give you. Very, 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 very simple. So literally, after this script, you have your data sets well arranged. You have your EDA. You're starting your EDA. Your EDA is it opens your mind to know what you should be expecting. Okay, so let's go into a more practical, session, right, on data exploration. Right, so we're going to be using Gemini to do data exploration. The reason why I am using Gemini, I'm doing that because ChatGPT has a limit to its data analysis. It cannot do, if you are using the free version, I'm using the free version, so it has a limit, okay? It gives me a limit. But with Gemini doesn't give limits, okay, to your data analysis. And it gives precise feedback, especially when it comes to your visualization, all right? It gives a very precise feedback. So the first thing we are going to be doing, or what are the core capabilities of Gemini, first of all, so that some people would not be asking me that, okay, why Gemini not ChatGPT? I said, why I'm not using ChatGPT now is because it gives me a limit to my analysis. All right. It gives good feedback when it comes to EDAs. I recommend Gemini ChatGPT for EDAs, please. Okay. But let's stick to Gemini just so we do not have any, limits, to our EDAs. And I said the EDAs is the infrastructure of our data. It literally helps you know everything about your data, from examining to understanding it to detecting the missing values to detecting outliers. All right. So first thing we'll be doing with our Gemini is to do the exploratory data analysis. Obviously, we're going to be asking questions about data patterns, distribution, outliers, missing values, and all that. We're going to be doing statistical testing. Statistical testing when we're dealing with numbers. All right. We want to request appropriate test, interpret p-values, validate assumptions. So statistical testing, that is where we probably see some mathematics. You want to see mean, median, mode, average, all those things. They're all statistical testing. So we do have code generation, all right? Code generation, where we generate pandas, NumPy, MathModel. These are all Python libraries, okay? These are all Python libraries that help give structure to your data sets or your code, okay? And we have, advanced analytics. That's where we'll be implementing our models. That's where we'll probably be doing when you're dealing with time. Okay, you want to do some time series forecasting. So these are all models. Okay, I don't want to use so much technical words here, just because we might have some beginners, here. All right, so I want us to open our Gemini. I'm going to share mine, and we're going to be using customer data. which is very relatable to everyone. Yeah, and I do not know how best I could share the data set. I don't know for those of us who are following. I mean, those of us who would want to do like the practical work with me right now. I do not know, but so since we're using Gemini, okay, I will just change this to Gemini, not ChatGPT, because of the limitation we have. So we're going to upload our CSV file, all right, and we are going to ask Gemini. So I'm going to open my Gemini right away. Okay, and to just a minute. Let me open my Gemini. All right. Going to be switching my account. So we don't have any limitations here. Okay, so I'll share this tab instead. All right, voila. So first of all, we are going to upload our CSV file. Okay, I should share the data sets. Okay. So I'm going to do that. I'll share. I'm going to share. Let's relax. I'm going to share. Okay. Customer and order. I think it's one at a time, so I have to send it one at a time. Okay, it's loading, so it'll get to us, get to everybody. Can you get my slides? Okay, sure. You get the slides after the 2-day masterclass, so let's not worry about that. You get it. It'll be very easy. Oh, Gemini is free. Please, it's free. Okay, maybe you want me to take you through the process. Let me. For some of us, I think Gemini is not free. I'll take you through the process. So no worries about that. I'll take you through the process. Okay, so let's go again. I'm going to open it again. So I'm going to share this. Okay, so please type Gemini on your browser. Okay, whatever browser you are using. I have put the data set in the comment section. Please check through. I have done that. Precious, please check through if I've uploaded it there. I'm very sure I've uploaded it.
Yes, I can see it is there.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so Gemini, click on Google Gemini. Okay, so I'm currently using an account, but you could use let's use our Gmails. Okay, please let's use our Gmail. So currently I'm using a different Gmail, so I'm going to be using another Gmail. So just select your Gmail. So eventually it's going to ask you, do you want to sign in with your Gmail? Then you sign in with your Gmail. It's very simple. I'm using a free tier. Please, it's very free, very free. I'm not using a paid version. If you can see, it says upgrade to Google AI Plus. That means I am not using a paid version. Okay, thank you. So let's begin. So we're going to be uploading our CSV file. That's our customer CSV file. Please, let's be specific on that. I uploaded 2 CSV files, but we are going to be using the customer CSV file. Okay, so I'm going to do that right away. Okay, it's asking me something. All right, so upload. Okay, loaded it. Good. So I'm going to ask it to give a summary. So give a summary. Oh, it's not a link. It's a sheet. It's not a link, please. It's a sheet. That's a sheet, please. So we are going to ask Gemini to summarize the structure of our data sets. Okay, so summarize the structure. And don't forget, we're actually doing an EDA here, so you really need to understand.
Hi, Debbie.
Yes.
I think they're saying they can't download the sheet.
Oh, why? Why can't we download it?
Can you please quickly resend it? Let me try
Okay,
and see
sure.
if I...
I'll
Sure.
resend
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you too. Oh, you don't need to download Gemini, please. Okay, I downloaded it. I've been able to download it. It's downloadable. Precious, do I need to upload it again? Hi, Precious. Downloaded mine too. I've been able to download it.
It's okay. It's
that's
okay.
fine.
We can go. Yeah,
Okay,
thank you.
thank you. All right, thank you too. Okay, so let's go back. So summarize the structure of the just okay. So since you're using a free version, got to wait. Okay. So since we're trying to understand that data, it says that the data set has over total columns of 7 outs. So column details. Okay, it says it gives us a customer ID, data type, description. Okay, it does all that. So let me quickly explain this. So it's very important, okay, that you're using the right data type for your data. It's very, very important, because if you're not using the right data type for your data, you will definitely be making some errors that you do not want to make. Right? You'll be finding difficulties that you do not want to have. Okay, it's very important that when we are doing analysis, you're using the right data type for your customer, for your data. So, for example, the first one says that column ID, customer ID. Okay, the customer ID has the object into bracket string data type. So when you're dealing with IDs, so IDs is a mixture of numbers and letters. And since we are dealing with numbers and letters, we have to use a data type called string. For our non-technical people and beginners here, it is just like you are, for a child of the age 4 or 5 years. He or she is supposed to probably be in what class? Maybe KG2. We use kindergarten in Ghana, so we use kindergarten. If he or she is not probably in the right class, and he or she is not able to process enough knowledge, compared to someone in class 1, he or she should not be put in a different class. Okay, so you are supposed to be in the right class, because this is the amount of knowledge you can process. This is the the age range, of students that should be in a particular class. All right. So that is basically how best I can explain it. All right. So because we are customers' IDs are a mixture of numbers and letters, we are supposed to be using a data type string. Okay, and it describes your customer ID as a unique identifier for customers. So meaning anybody that comes in or logs into your platform, or anybody that walks into your organization, is supposed to have a unique identifier, just so that you can say, okay, customer A ordered this product at this time. Customer B ordered this at this particular time. It follows with the next row. segments. We're doing segments. So since we are segmenting, we want to be open to letters and numbers. Okay, that's why we're using string, as well as country. With country, we can stick to objects. Okay, because we are not dealing with postal codes. We are only dealing with letters. We are not dealing with numbers. Okay, we can stick to objects because most our countries are what in letters and not in the mixture of numbers and letters. We're dealing with cities, we can stick to objects because we're dealing with letters. Okay, the city where customers are located, that is a description. We are dealing with other roles and all that. Since we're dealing with states, we are dealing with letters, so we are dealing with data type called objects. All right, it gives a further description just so you can understand where where our state is falling in. The state is where the customer is located. So it goes ahead to explain, gives a description. Now, we're dealing with postal codes. Okay, so postal codes, we are dealing with numbers. All right, we're dealing with numbers. Okay, so an integer is also a data type. Okay, so the postal zip code of the customer. All right, so we have the region as well. The region says the region is an object, okay, because we're dealing with letters. It explains further to say that, okay, the geographical is a geographical region of what? Of, the geographical region. Yes, basically. So now, let's further access to, So I have some prompts I would like to share, okay? I have some prompts I would like to share since we want to do an intense EDA. So the second question I would like to ask is that analyze my customer and order data. So I added an order data in relation to the customer data in the chat. So analyze my customer and order data and tell it that, okay, the attached file include customer data and order data. Can you load each file? Okay, so we want it to load it. We want it to load the file, of which we have probably done before. Okay, I think we've already done that before, being able to upload it. But now we wanted to load it in a way that it is able to fully give us every attribute we need to know. So there's a difference between just uploading it, and there's a difference between loading. Okay, please, there's a difference between that. All right, so loading. Sorry, just a minute. I just want to do a copy and paste. It will be easy for me. Okay. Sorry, let me. Right. I'm trying to do a copy and paste for my end. That's why it's taking time. Okay, try opening it again. Good. So let's go back to Gemini. Share this instead. Okay, so you're going to attach. So we have the customer data there already. Okay. So we're just going to use the others data. Yeah, just going to use the others. So open. Oh no, let's upload it again, just for for the sake of analysis. Let's go again. Good. So we're telling it that it should be able to load each data. Yes. So I've successfully loaded and inspected both data sets. If we notice that the input from the first prompt to the second prompt is quite different. They're saying load it successfully, just so that we can be able to do our further, exploration. All right. So it loads it gives you key columns, gives you the use. The other set is able to give you the number of rows, the number of columns, right? And it's able to give you the use of your file, all right? And it's even asking you that how would you proceed with analysis? For example, I can help you with sales trend, regional performance, customer segmentation. Amazing. That means you're on point. Because these are further analysis we will be doing, but not now. All right, so let's go to the next prompts. If you're following, please give a thumbs up. If you have any question, I can explain. I can fully explain. Right. Okay. All right. Okay, so the next prompt says that we should, sorry, going too far. So the next prompt, you're supposed to create a summary table for each file. Include column names, the data type of each. Let's be clear on that, you know. We can't see, sorry. Okay, so the second prompt is create a summary table for each file. Include column names, the data type of each, a column description, the number of missing values in each column, and the number of unique values in each column. Also, if a column is numeric and relevant, include minimum, maximum, mean, median, standard deviation. All right, so if we are dealing with numbers, we want to do further analysis, you know, it does help, especially when you're dealing with e-commerce, you know, customers, you're dealing with, you know, products. It helps to know this is your, you know, maximum number of, you know, the mean of your values, your minimum of your values, the maximum of your values, you know. It helps you to just, you know, understand your you know, your clients further. Yeah, it does do that. So let's do that quickly. Okay, let's go back to Gemini. So we are telling it that I did like you to create a summary table for each file. Include column names, the data type of each, a column description, the number of missing values in each column, the number of unique values in each column. Also, if a column is numeric and relevant, I want you to include mean, maximum, median, and all that. So let's see what it does. Okay. All right, so it says here are a few summary tables for both data sets. Includes column descriptions, data types, missing or unique value counts, and descriptive statistics. Okay, so when you're dealing with lots of numbers, all right, it's advisable you do descriptive statistics. Okay, it helps you understand your values. You know, it helps you understand the numbers. Yeah, so that's this, you know.
Hello, Debbie.
Comma, just so that we understand what we are
Hello.
doing. To generate a table correctly. Can you hear me?
Hello.
Hi, Precious. Yes.
Yes, please. I think they cannot see your screen. I can see. I would recommend that some of you would rejoin again because I can see. But someone asked, oh God, the questions keep coming. Someone is asking, should that be done after
Oh, you
cleaning
can't
the
see.
data?
Oh, I'm sharing it now. Oh.
Yeah, I can see. I can see
Well,
from
we
my
are still trying
end.
to understand. Yeah. So we are still trying to understand that in the process of understanding, you know where your missing values are, you know where your outliers are, then you know what you are cleaning exactly. Am I clear, please?
Hello. Are you
Hi.
inside Gemini right now?
Yes, I am.
Okay, we are stuck on the screen with the prompt.
Whoa. How?
Yeah.
How's that possible? I'm not sharing the prompts. I'm actually sharing Gemini. Okay,
Oh.
let me do it again. Let me
Okay.
just
Yeah, sure.
let me
Thank you.
just yeah. So this is the prompt. Can we see the prompts?
Yes, we can see the prompt.
Wait. Okay. So now I'm going to share Gemini. Yeah. Can we see Gemini?
No, we are still seeing the prompt.
Interesting. Oh, okay. Let's see. Hmm. Okay. Let me just stop sharing and share again. It's fine. That'll be better.
And yeah, I think that will help.
Okay. Can we see Gemini? Hello. Can we see Gemini?
Yes, we can see Gemini now.
Okay. Good. Wonderful. All right. So the initial prompt was so somebody asked that does that happen after the data cleaning? You can't clean what you do not understand. Okay, you can't actually clean what you don't understand. So we are in the process of understanding. We are doing an EDA. I explained this earlier. EDAs are, basically examining your data, understanding patterns, understanding where your missing values are, understanding if there's an overflow of your data, what isn't relevant and what is, right? So we're basically in the process of understanding our data. For every data, there is supposed to be, an EDA. An EDA is basically the infrastructure of your data. Okay? It's an infrastructure of your data. So please, I think we can continue from here. So if you have uploaded your order data and your customer data, you will probably understand where I am now. Okay, we are trying to create a summary table for each file. So instead of us to have 4,700 and something, it's going to give us a summary of the whole file. Okay, maybe give us 5 or 8 rows and columns from our data set. It's able to explain why this column is existing, why is it there, what is it doing. It's able to identify if there are any missing values. It's able to identify the unique value. So if you're dealing with the customer data, the unique values there are customer ID. Okay, it's a customer ID that helps you to identify your customers. Okay, all right. So since we're also dealing with numbers, we want to do a descriptive statistics. Okay, just to fully explain why we're having these numbers, fully explain what we are, we are heading towards, what we foresee, when it comes to numbers. Okay, please give a thumbs up if you're good up to this point. Okay, so it's both. We are working with customer data set and the other data set. We're working with both, please. All right, I'm reading the comments, I'm reading it. Okay, good. All right, so let's continue. So now, since we're trying to understand our data, we want the summary. Okay, I explained the data types, why they're existing. They're existing, to solidify whatever we have, our column names. If you're dealing with customer IDs, you best want to deal with strings, numbers and objects. But currently, it understands what we are having. It's giving objects. Meanwhile, data types is giving data type of objects instead of string. It's just basically understanding what we have at this moment. We have not told it to do anything yet. Yeah, so it's giving you exactly what you have. All right. So basically, it has given us a number of rows, not everything, but at least 5 to 6, rows and columns. All right. So it's also summarized the other data set here as well. Okay, and also, yeah, so it says, note that the descriptive statistics for ID, like columns, row ID, and postal codes, were omitted as they are not analytically meaningful in this context. Interesting. So it says that in this context, we do not need row ID and postal codes. Why? Yeah, so probably someone would ask why. So since we're doing a descriptive statistics, which has to do with numbers, we do not need postal codes. Okay? Yeah, we do not need the row IDs. You know, they are not really meaningful here. And I love that because some might ask, okay, why didn't you see it there? Why didn't you? Because I initially mentioned postal codes in our first prompt. Yeah, so basically that is why it is not explaining that we don't need it here. Okay, so the next prompt. The next prompt. Okay, just a minute. Just a minute, guys. Okay. So the next prompt, if you can see my next prompt, please just give me a thumbs up. Right? Okay, so for each date or ship date, should the data type be something else, something more relevant for the data? Okay, so we want to also understand why these are the data types it's using, and we're probably giving it, we're giving it something it can use, to explain why you're using the data types better. So for order date or ship date, should the data type be something else, something more relevant for the data? All right, so let's copy this prompt and let's go to Gemini. Okay. All right, so let's see what it gives us. Yes, absolutely. The order date and ship date columns should be converted to the data type. Currently, they are stored as objects or strings, which means the computer treats them like plain text rather than calendar dates. Converting them to data time is more relevant because it unlocks several critical analytical capabilities. So it goes further to explain that why is he using the data type, data type? Okay, why? Because of date arithmetic, you can perform calculations, right? It's able to find a time between the order and the ship date, okay? The order dates and the ship dates. It's also able to sort them out, okay? What is incorrect, depending on how it has been sorted, what is correct and incorrect. It's able to sort them out in chronological order, okay? It's also able to, deal with them in years, months, quarter, days of the week. All right, these are all feather trends. So, I spoke earlier of identifying patterns and trends with EDA. So basically, probably in your data set, you might not have had things like year, month, quarter, day of the week. It does what to probably find, the trends, the pattern, all this. Which month it has the highest sales, all right? Things that you will not like on a normal think about, all right? It does all that for you. So you have the time series analysis, which has to do with seasons, forecasting, the first quarter, second quarter, what is the performance, between the first and the second quarter, that's in the third quarter, all right? Across the years as well. Right. So basically it's telling us that, okay, it's supposed to be using a data type, all right, based on all these reasons. Okay. I think it's getting interesting. All right. So now the next thing I would want us to do is to, use any column. All right, use any column. Yes, for any column that should be converted, please convert. Don't worry about the shipping lead time. So let's talk about any columns, because I don't want us to deviate from what we have already. Okay, let's or should we be more specific? Okay, let's be more specific. Yeah, I think we should be more specific here. So since it has given us for order dates and ship dates, okay, this is giving us order dates and ship dates. Let's tell it that, okay, convert. So I'm going to share. So convert okay. So for the order dates, no, I think I've changed my mind. Let's go with for any column. Okay. Let's not be precise. We want to have an overview of the data. So let's not be so precise about what's column. So for any column, please convert. Okay. So for any column, convert. See what it gives us. Right. Oh, it's converted. So it gives you the reformed, the reformed version
Hey,
of
Deborah.
it. Hi.
Please,
see?
we still can't see Gemini.
Oh, so sorry. I don't know what's happening. Let me just. Can you see my prompt?
Yeah, we can see the prompt.
Okay, let's go to Gemini. All right.
Okay.
Please, can you see my Gemini now? Okay, good. So what I was saying earlier was, since we're talking about conversion using the right data types, we're telling it that it should convert the necessary, it should convert the necessary existing data types on our sheets to the right or preferred, the right. So since we asked it that, okay, for any column convert, it has reformed the entire thing. It has reformed the whole data sets, but it gives reasons why. So it converted, it did a conversion for the order dates, for the ship dates, and it gives reasons why. Why it's converting is because of further analysis. We might probably want to be doing like a time series analysis. The first quarter, I want to be dealing with the first quarter, want to be dealing with the second quarter, want to be dealing with the third quarter. All right, we want to be dealing with numbers, anything that has to do with a season. Okay, you want to sort them out chronologically. Okay, so if we're dealing with July 1st, we want to July 1st, maybe it's in figures, we want it to follow each other. It's July 1st, maybe 01/02 / 2002, and we also have September 1st. It should follow as 01/07 2002. Okay, it should follow in order. You want to calculate durations, you should be able to calculate durations. Okay, good. So we also changed the postal code format from the customer CSV file, which is a postal code column. It changes from the integer to the string. Why did they do that? Because it wants to be able to, identify that, okay, these are 5 digits, these are, 4 digits, these are 3 digits, just to be able to like chronologically understand your data. So yeah, that's what it is. So I said it's able to export your data to an Excel sheet. Okay, it's a Google Workspace. I mentioned Google Workspace because Gemini is a product of Google, so definitely we have access to the Google Workspace. So just so you want to export whatever feedback, you just click export and it's able to freely export it to a more visible, visible space. All right, let me share this so that we can see. So this is how it's going to pop up. Something very, 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 very simple and clear. Okay. So this is basically some of the data types it's worked on and examples on why it's actually give it a new data type. Good. All right. So what's our next prompt? What's our next prompt? What's our next prompt? Let me share this instead. So our next prompt, okay, can you pin the first 5 rows and five columns in the table? Yes, it can do that. We are almost at the very, very, very interesting point. So let's not get tired, please. So you now see what the data analysts go through, all the visuals are not just they didn't just fall down from the skies. It took a lot of reading, took a lot of reading. Let me do a copy and paste. So now we have a new reformed data set from orders.csv, and we have others from customer CSV. So we are telling you that okay, we want to see at least like five rows to 5 columns, in a table. We just want to see visibly. That's all. Interesting. So it says, okay, customer data sets. It gives us the customer ID, segments, countries, cities, states, all right, and also with our others data sets as well. It's able to, give us a couple of them. Since we're sticking to 5, that's what it's going to give us, all right. So that's just for visibility sake. We just want to see what we have, okay. Yeah, for a quick analysis, it's best you see what you have. So now, this is another interesting part, okay? We do not just merge data. I know some of us will be like, okay, where is the data merging coming in? We don't just merge, we don't just clean. Let me use clean. We don't just clean, we get to understand our data properly, which includes data merging as well. And when you're merging, we tend to look for the unique values, all right, before you merge. If there are no unique values, there is no reason to merge. If they do 2 columns don't have the same unique values, they don't have unique values, there is no reason to merge anything. Just leave it the way it is. So we are telling you that okay, let's merge the data as needed. Do all orders have matching customer order info? How many unique customers are there? How many unique orders are what's there? All right, let's see. Let's see what Gemini does. So I entreat some of us probably, you could do a comparison of ChatGPT and Gemini. Okay. Maybe some might say, oh, why not ChatGPT? Some might still be insisting that no, ChatGPT is best. You can do a comparison, based on the analysis given, based on the input given. Don't forget garbage in, garbage out. Once you say that is not quality, it also gives you an input that is not quality. Okay. All right. So let's see. Let's see. Okay. Okay. So The data has been merged into a single data set named Other Customers Merged the CSV. Here's the breakdown. So why did we merge? What are the reasons why we merged? Okay, there might be some times where you just want to ask it, okay, is there any reason to merge? Try to have a conversation with it because they're still trying to understand the data set that you have. You don't just want to merge what is not needed. Okay? You're able to ask it, okay, is there a need to merge? What are some unique values that I can, merge? Okay? So the data has been merged into a single data set, data integrity and matching. So reasons why data integrity and matching. Do all orders have matching customer info? Yes. Every single customer ID presents in others file as a corresponding entry in the customer file. Bravo. So you see, we have similar, values, similar columns, in both data sets. That makes it easy. We don't have to be doing analysis on two different data sets at the same time. It saves time. All right. So yes, we do have to do that. So every single customer ID presenting others data has a corresponding entry in customer's file. So now, completeness. Conversely, every customer in your customer list has placed at least one order. There are no orphan orders or inactive customers in these files. Okay, so it's saying that let's see, every customer in your customer list has placed at least one order. Okay, so there are no orphans orders or inactive. So there are no inactive customers in both files. Good. Interesting. So now what is the unique total? So what are the unique values, okay, that allows us to be able to merge the orders file and the customer file? You can feel free to export and get to know more about it, fine. But I think I'm more interested in this, more interested in the merge file. Interesting. I'm more interested in this. Interesting. So we have the role, order ID, order date, ship mode, customer ID, product ID. Okay, so we can see that they are very similar things in both files. All right. Yeah. Okay, I love the arrangement as well. Yeah, now we are seeing the relationship. Let's go back to what we had at first. The EDAs, data understanding, identify missing values, detecting outliers of which we do not have. All right, because earlier on we asked it detect outliers, detect missing values that doesn't have, it has none. Okay, but right now to know the relationship, we have gotten to the relationship. Okay, we got into the relationship. For those of us that probably just joining, let me go back to the process again, just so that we follow. So this was the flow. It's understanding, detecting outliers, identify relationship, model selection. I'm sure we're good now. Okay, so we want to do something. So some of us will be like, can we do this in a more easier way? Is there a better way to do this? I'm like, yes, there is. There's a more easier way. Okay. But it's because most of us are not programmers. We are not so much, okay, I would say from teaching beginners, if you go straight into programming, you would probably be a villain. All right, you'll see like what's going on. That can we do a more easier way? Can we do it in a more easier way? All right, but since we've done a lot of understanding, we understand the relationship. Okay, I think we can do a little bit of code, right? So now we're going to tell it that, can you show me all code generated so far? Also, can you provide a downloadable Python script in Jupyter Notebook? So So you see how, I mean, you will eventually see that the codes are very small. So small that you'd be like, so I used how many minutes to do analysis, and I could just have used like few codes, to do all this EDA, do the EDA and all that. Okay, there are more easier ways. So let me copy and paste, right? Don't want to talk so much, just copy and paste. Okay, let's go back to Gemini. Look, the Jupyter Notebook is also, Google Workspace is also a product of Google. So it makes it easy for us, you just have to tap or open Jupyter Notebook and it pops up. So let's do that. So this time we're going into codes. We are using the programming language. Right? It just helps us to Oh, interesting. Can you hear my interesting? Okay. All right. Okay, so let's see. So it says I've consolidated all the code generated so far into a clean sequential format. I have also prepared a Python script in a Jupyter notebook file for you to download and use locally. Okay, so this is consolidated Python file, but I think using let's use this. Okay. So let's use this. Okay. So now I think I explained this earlier, but I'm going to explain it again. So why are we, exploring Python scripts? Why? Because we want to do something, we want to do it in a very simple manner, quick manner, in a few minutes. But it also opens your mind to know that learning a programming language, it will be very helpful. So we have two Python libraries here, Pandas and NumPy. Helps you give structure to your dataset. Okay? You load your dataset, customer CSV file, and other CSV file. Very simple. Now, you want to clean and transform. Okay? That's where probably you said, okay, let me convert my date columns, date time, all this, all that. And now you're probably saying that, okay, let me convert my postal code into strings. So you do your conversion. And now you want to create a summary table, of which we did earlier. Your Python script does that for you. And now you're like, okay, let me do some descriptive analysis. Okay. So let me understand my column names. Let me understand my, let me understand if there are missing values. Let me understand if there are unique values. You want to understand all this, right? And also probably you also want to, you also want to do your merging. You merge your data, of which we did, and also successfully export your results. Very simple. I'm just some of us are like, okay, it's so short. Yes, it's very short. It's very nice when you understand programming languages and how they work. Yeah. Okay, so that's just by the way. It is not for us to swallow. It's a process. Okay. As time goes on, you do not want to do your EDAs manually. You don't want to do your cleaning manually. You can, make your AI tools valuable. You can utilize Python. You can use programming languages like Python and R. Okay. So it's just to make our work easier. All right. It's just to make our analysis very easy. Okay, so we are done with cleaning, we are done with transforming, and now we want to see visuals. We're tired of, I'm tired of seeing all the plenty talk, plenty cleaning, plenty instructions. I want to see it in a visualized way. Okay, so now we're going to tell Gemini, let's create a visualization of monthly sales over time. Also, show profit distribution by category. Can you also label the type of visualization you created, which is very important. So now, every visualization has its key function. Every visualization so if you're probably dealing with names and age, you're dealing with names and age, or IDs and age. You can't be using what do they call it? Bar plots. Yeah, you can't be using something like that. You're probably going to be using bar charts, all right? Histograms, all right? So let's learn the functions of every visualization, all right? Let's learn that. Okay, so let's copy the prompts. Yeah, so this helps in our reporting. So we have something called data reporting. Okay, so summary of our data, summary of everything, every analysis we've done. Okay, and there's something called data reporting. Yeah, it has the summaries. It has, it has all the details of your analysis based on the data set you're dealing with. So let's create a visualization of monthly sales over time. Also show profit distribution by category. Can you also label the type of visualization created? And yeah, let's say, and give reasons why. Give reasons why you used the visual. Give reasons why you used the visual. Okay. I want us to be familiar with when, why we use, the visuals. Okay, please thumbs up if you're following. It's not getting boring. Why is it not giving us mean, max, standard deviation? Okay. All right, I'm seeing, okay, what other question? Just so that I can explain. All right, let me go. Let me go back. So why isn't it giving us? Sorry, I will come back to where we were. I did not see the comments. So let me just explain that quickly. Let me export this. I want to explain that quickly. Okay. Oh, it did. It actually did because we requested for it. Okay, but let's note that the ones that were not given mean, max, mean, median, standard deviation, they didn't have to do with numbers. Okay, they didn't have to do with calculations. All right, we had sales, we had quantity, discount, profits. Those were the things that had to do with calculations. If I'm clear, that is why we did not get mean, max, mean, median, standard deviation, right, for the other values. Okay, they did not have any reason to do any calculation. We did not have any reason to do mean, max, and all that. Oh, all right, I didn't share that, sorry. So this is the reason why we're not getting the mean, max for the other values. They had no reason to do with calculations. All right, thank you very much. I hope you're clear now. Who asked that question? Who was that? Okay, good. Thank you very much. All right, so let's go. Let's go over. Good. All right. So now we ask the question, and we give this a prompt. We're like, okay, let's create a visualization of monthly sales over time. Also, show profit distribution by category. Can you also label the type of visualization you created and give reasons why you used that visual? So we requested that it does what a monthly sales over time visualization. All right, so it did profit distribution by category, monthly sales over time, and it did what to label. Don't know why it didn't. Okay, it did label. So now let's see the first visualization, monthly sales over time. Visualization, line chart with what markers, reasons for choice, trend identification. So since we're dealing with trends, right, it allows us to see the fluctuation, the seasonality, and the overall growth trajectory of sales over months and years. And also it helps to see the continuity. The line effectively connects the data points to show the progression of time and making it easy to spot peaks and troughs. Voila. So now the second visualization, profit distribution by category. We didn't ask for this, but let's see why it gave it to us. Type of visualization, box plot. Reasons for choice. It says that distribution analysis. While a bar chart only shows average, a box plot reviews the spread of the data. It shows the median profit. It shows the interquartile range. It also shows the variance. All right. Okay. And also the comparison. It allows for a quick comparison for which categories are consistently profitable versus the high variability. Okay, so since we are dealing with sales, okay, we're dealing with sales, and with sales do relate to performance. If we understand, those with high performance, low performance, what categories, products fall in, all that, the profits being made, basically why it is given as a profit distribution by category. So now, what category does the product fall under? What profit are we making? Fair enough. I'm sure it's fair enough. I mean, we're basically doing an analysis here. So if it's relevant, we make good use of it. If it's not, but it is relevant and it gives reasons why. Okay, so we're dealing with sales. We dealt with plots just so that we can see, the seasonality. Be able to identify the comparison between the categories, identify the risk we take, the low risk, the medium, the high risk. All right, we're able to do all that. Okay, ask the question. Okay, it said note for clarity, outliers were excluded from the visual to better focus on the main distribution of the majority of orders. Important. Okay, we don't need outliers at this moment. It's also asking, how would you want to continue? Would you want to analyze the performance? Maybe, but not yet. Okay, so let's go back to, you're almost done. Almost done. So let's share this. I want to do further visualization, please. We are not done. Sales over time. Can you delineate by product category? And also, can you make the visualization wider? Okay, so this prompt is here because sometimes your visualizations are being labeled on Gemini. Okay, let's look at this. That prompt was there because sometimes your visualizations are being created and you notice that your labeling is overlapping. your labels are overlapping. You notice that your labels are overlapping. Okay, but here, luckily for us, our labels are not overlapping. You see where you see the numbers? These are all the labels, all right? These are all labels. Those of us that are new to labeling, these are all labels, all right? So there'll be a time probably where your visual is not well arranged, you know. You would want to expand just so that you can, you know, you can see your values properly. Okay, so someone says, I think the best result to get clarity is the way we prompt. Good. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's the way we prompt. Yeah. So is there a way one can learn prompt engineering basically for data analytics? Yes, we can. Yes, there is actually a way we can learn prompt engineering. All right, but okay, so I think that will be a bonus for us. Probably tomorrow I can do a little, overview on prompt engineering. Yes, I'll do a little overview on prompt engineering. Yeah, so Precious, please remind me. I promised to do that tomorrow before doing anything. Yeah, I'll do that. Okay, so let's go over to the next prompt. Yeah, let's go over to the next prompt. So we want to do, let's do something else. So we can see properly, so we don't need to do any expansion. So right now we want to say something. We just want to further, analyze our visualizations or show something further. Can you show from July 2016 to July 2017? Okay. And also, we can also ask further questions. Are you using Seaborn libraries to create visualization? So Seaborn is a library, all right, basically for, when we're dealing with plotting, okay? Can use Seaborn libraries, all right? You can also ask, can you allow me to download data visualizations? Obviously, you can. You can download it here. Let me show you how to download your visuals. So sometimes you see the download button right beside it somewhere here, all right? It's downloadable. Good. Okay, we have it here again. Just hover on the charts. You will be able to download. Sorry about that noise. All right, so sorry about that. So we now know how to, download on Gemini. Oh, I'm also enjoying your audience. Thank you. Okay, so let's what's the next point? Got lost. Okay, so let's ask it to show visualization from 2016 to 2017. Let's see. Let's see if it's able to do that. Okay. Let's see. All right, it's actually able to. Yeah, it's able to show monthly sales from July 2016 to July 2017. Interesting. All right, so it was even able to label further label our our plots, which is very interesting. But one thing about our labeling, right, is that we do not want to have so much values on our charts. It makes it clumsy a bit. Okay, so maybe sometimes we can tell it that reduce the significance maybe to 2 figures or to 3 figures. Okay, which is which should be very visible, right? Okay, but I think I'll stick to this because I mean it's not so, not so clustered. It's fine. Okay, so it says that monthly sales from July 2016 to 2017. There is a focus analysis for the 13th month period from 2016 to July 2017. Visual type, line chart. Why did they choose line charts? I said earlier that we should learn to know when to use, the visual, why we using it, okay? It makes our communication clearer for those of us who do communicate a lot. It makes it very clear. You understand? So reasons for choice. A line chart is ideal here to track the month over month momentum. It clearly highlights the significant peak season at the end of 2016, September through to December, following by the expected dip in early 2017. So the dip is, skyrockets, comes down, dips down again, skyrockets up, dips down again. So it's able to identify the dips, low performance, low sales, all that. It's able to identify all that. Okay, which is very, very important. So peak seasons, deep seasons is able to do that. Basically, that's why we use the word line chart. Good. And if you want to download, hover on it. Just hover on it. You'll be able to download freely. All right. Okay, so let's see. We have about, I think, 7 minutes. Okay, so I just want us to clearly understand why we use some certain Python libraries. Okay, I explained earlier that okay, most of the Python libraries are for structure, but let's just get familiar with some of them. Why did you use Python libraries? And why did you use pandas? Why do you use Seaborn? Why do you use matplotlib? It's for everyone. But for those of us who are like, let me go the easy way. Let me just learn programming. Let me learn Python. Okay, it puts my analysis, it gives me, or let's say you just want to reduce the time that you're doing analysis. Let me just learn programming for data analysis 6. Okay, that would be very nice. So let's just understand some certain libraries and why we use them. Then I think we can probably do, let's see. Oh, I really wanted us to use Cursor, but we can do that tomorrow. Okay. Can do that tomorrow because Cursor would help me link it up to the prompt engineering. Okay, I would be able to explain, how we do the prompts and why, what types of prompts and all that. Okay, so let's further explain. Let's ask it to explain some certain Python libraries, why we use them. Oh, I don't know. It's like I've lost where I was. Where was I? Okay, I'm here. Okay, let's see. So I'm just trying to understand the libraries, basically get familiar with them, why we use them, Yeah. Just so that when you see it, maybe you see someone's code, you're able to be like, okay, this is why you use it, this is why you use that, this is why you use the analysis. Okay. Yeah. It's very good to learn. Oh, okay. So why? I want to know why. So in the previous step, I used Seaborn for box plotting and Matplotlib for the line charts. While they are both great together, because I used this thing to apply Seaborn styling to all charts. Someone needs assistance. Who needs assistance? Does anybody need assistance? Please resend it to the community. I cannot see. Oh, oh, really? Okay, I'll resend it right now. The colors of your tools and fast on mine is different. Interesting. Why is it different? Okay. I'm uploading it again, though, but I mean, if you need it on the WhatsApp community, Precious can help with that. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so I was explaining why we use some certain Python libraries and why. Okay, so why we use it is basically because we are trying to plot. Okay, we're plotting. We're trying to see the peak and dips of our visuals. Okay, so updated visuals using Seaborn. So it updated the visuals using Seaborn. I didn't ask it to update. I asked it that, are you using it to create? But because he really wants to further explain why, it's used Seaborn. So initially we're using uh,
Hello, Deborah. Hello. Hello, Deborah. Yes, I'm guessing Deborah has a little bit of a technical challenge. Um Anyway, a quick one before we can get here. Be rest assured that if you have a question, I would put them together and make sure that she answers every one of us. And also, those of us requesting for the recording, you will be getting the recording, and then you would also get the data set together with the yes, together with the slides. Hopefully, by the close of tomorrow. I cannot send emails out today because we have a technical issue with Microsoft, which we are still working on resolving. And immediately that is done, trust me, I will share with you. In case we are unable to send emails for tomorrow's class, please remember that it's the same link and it's the same time tomorrow you can join. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me in the chat because I don't know why I feel like nobody can hear me. Okay, good, great, thank you. So yes, worried we're going to share the data sets together with the prompts she's using, and the recording for the class and everything. Hopefully, when this issue is resolved, everybody is going to have access to that and you can practice on your own. I hope you enjoyed the class for today and you had a great time learning with us. We would also be getting your feedback later on. Oh, I'm happy to see that most of you enjoyed. Yes. Those of you who have questions and it has not been answered, I want to reassure you that I have all your questions. For instance, someone is asking if data analysis is good to use AI for data analysis now that we have without a data analyst certification. Wait, can I apply as a data analyst knowing how to use AI only in data analysis without having a data analysis certification? Well, I think our facilitator would respond to that when we have her back. Somebody is asking, data privacy and protection, does it work when we are using AI? I'm sure she would also handle that. Please, how do I incorporate references for my analysis? She would answer that too. Please, is there an attendance? Yes, you attended with Zoom. So from the back end here, we are able to see those who attended from the Zoom platform. Yes, so yes, if you're worried about attendance, don't worry, we would see that at our end. Thank you. And then someone is asking if they can learn basics of prompt engineering for data analytics. Yes, I would also leave that for Deborah to answer, but yes, I know you can engineering. There are a lot of courses out there that you can research. Sometimes you can search on YouTube too and just apply that. In all, I want to say a very big thank you to you all. I can see from the chat that most of us, in fact, if not everybody, most of us enjoyed the class. How can we get prompts for class? I don't really understand what you mean by. Um, by the prompts for today's class, are you asking about the prompts that Deborah used? If that is what you're asking about, as I said earlier, I am going to share all that with you by whenever the issue Outlook, there's a problem. But whenever it's solved, I would send every single one of us an email containing all the necessary things you need to learn after the class. Please, when is the next class? It's tomorrow, God willing. We are having the next class tomorrow, the same time, with the same Zoom link. Yes, tomorrow's class is the same time as we started today. That is 2 p.m. for Ghana and 3 p.m. for Nigerians. I'm sorry, I cannot tell the time zones for the other African countries, but then it's the same time we started today. And yes, you can use the same Zoom registration link you used to join today. Unfortunately, we still have issues with sending out mails to most of us. So if you have a colleague who registered and did not get the link, please share with them. Microsoft is messing up a little bit. Okay, 5 p.m. Kenyan time. Thank you very much, Sophie. So yes, my Kenyans in the house is 5 p.m. Yes, 5 p.m. Okay. Thank you very much. I hope you all have a lovely evening, afternoon, wherever you are. Whatever time it is there, please enjoy the rest of your day and see you tomorrow. Please, let's do well to join the class early so that we can learn more. And please, I received my mail this afternoon. Oh, okay. That's great. Some people couldn't. So if you did, you are one of the lucky ones. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a lovely day. Bye.
Bye.